Hey folks, what's up? Gray here, and today we're going to continue on our 5 C's of survival in regards to National Preparedness Month. One quick thing before I get into this topic, I wanted to say that I think I'm going to put these 5 C's in their own playlist because here's my honest perspective of the 5 C's. And yes, there's 10 C's and 20 C's, and we can get into that at a later date. But the main thing I want to say about this is if you pay attention to these 5 C's for survival, which was done by Dave Canterbury. That's how it really started. If you use, let's say you build your bug out bag, or you're going to build a get home bag, and you follow these steps of the 5 C's, you're going to be able to have a lot better odds of survival than without them. So each one of these steps to me are very important, and I hope that you're getting value out of these steps. Being that, like I said, it's a nice foundation for you to start building your bug out bags, your get home bags, your EDC bags. You can minimize and make things smaller, larger, or however you please to do so. But I hope that you find extreme value out of this, because to me, this is the basis of all things that I do when I build bags for my family members, including my daughter. All right, so we're going to start with the basics, really. See, a lot of people have heard the term Nalgene, okay? So it's a company called Nalgene. They make great bottles in regards to containers. Here's the main issue with this. This is great to have on you if you're going to be storing water or whatnot. If you're bringing water with you, it's better than all your plastics out there and your cheap plastic bottles, things that you would find at Walmart and other places like that. They make some of the best things. Now, these folks do make a stainless steel variety of this, which is a very good one, which I do like. But these do come in handy. Again, they have a purpose. So if you're going to start with something plastic and that you want to have water into, something by Nalgene, which is made in the USA, is something that you may want to get in your pack. But here's the main issue with this, or I guess the con in that aspect, is basically you aren't able to boil water in this. So that's where we're going to get into our next product or gear, which is something that you can boil water in. And there's a difference in the two products, because some people get a little bit confused, and I'm going to try to kind of give you an overview of what you should and should not do in the next container that we're going to discuss. All right, folks, so let's move on to our next container, which is this stainless steel container. Now, I want you guys to kind of follow me on this thing, okay? This is a single wall stainless steel container. I like the nesting cup that it comes with, where it sits in here. So I have two. You can use this to boil water. You can take off the top. You can fill this up and boil water with it. But I use this to scoop this. I'll take these because that has a handle on it, and basically scoop and boil water in this. And then once that water is boiled, I will transfer it to this. The reason I'm saying this is you don't want to cross-contaminate your water. So if you were to use this and fill this up with water from a pond or a stream or whatever, and you pour it into here, and then you boil it to clean it, and then you pour it back into here, you can see now that you've contaminated, this bottle might have contamination in it, and you've poured your clean water and re-contaminated it by putting it back into here. Kind of makes sense, right? So you want to keep those two separate, because a lot of people will get complacent and make that error, and that error can cost you, you can get really sick, you can even possibly die depending on your situation. So just be very, very careful in the way that you are, cleaning your water, okay? Some people may, like I said, only have this, boil water, and then they're going to put it in their Nalgene and fill this up. Now, some people say, hey, Gray, but this is not much water. I concur. You might have to boil water multiple times to fill a bottle up. But you want to do it as safe as possible. I don't know how many of you folks are going to be carrying a full, massive, camping kit with you in your bug out bag. Some of you may not, depending on what your capabilities are. But most folks will probably prefer to run something like this than to run something huge and heavy and whatnot. This is very compact, very lightweight. Also, like I said, it's single-walled stainless steel. There's other metals you can get out there. Of course, I think that a lot of people like to use surgical steel, just because what it is. What's up, Rooster? And anyways, there's what is it? There's another metal out there. It'll cost you an arm and a leg, and yes, it's great. And it as it heats, it turns pretty colors and whatnot. I want to say titanium is pretty much what it is, which is grandinol if you prefer to do that, but stainless steel works well. Surgical stainless steel even works better. If you can find that, I think the company Nalgene actually has a surgical stainless steel bottle that you can apply heat to that is single walled, because the last thing you want to do is use a double walled container. You know, a lot of people will have containers like this that are double walled because double wall has like a vacuum in there and whatnot, and there's that space. That's what they mean by double wall, and they'll fill it up because it keeps things cooler longer or hotter longer. You kind of get what I'm saying with that? But the thing is, the last thing you want to do is apply heat to that and destroy that barrier and possibly create some other issues. So if you're going to be boiling water in a container, you want to make sure it's single wall, not double wall, for that whole boiling water scenario. And like I said, you want to make sure that you don't cross-contaminate the water that you've already cleaned by putting it into something that has residuals of dirty water. So be mindful of that step. All right, folks, so now let's kind of look at a situation where you don't have the capability to start a fire. You are moving from point A to point B in an extremely fast situation where you don't have time to build a fire. You're trying to be a little bit low key, and you don't want anybody to spot your smoke or your fire, but you still need water. Let's say you've ran out of water, or someone on your team needs water, and you don't have the capability to boil water. Okay, so let's look at what kind of container could you use in that situation. So this is something that I've got, I'm building out for the wife, Lady Grey, and it's a camel pack. A lot of you guys, you know, there's different companies that make them. You choose which company you prefer, it doesn't matter. But there's one thing that I'm going to add to some situation like this, because if you were to fill this up with water, as you can see, when you fill this up with water, you're going to be drinking out of the straw. Well, there's one issue. If you fill this up with water from a river, stream, lake, pond, wherever you're getting it from, there's no filtration. Now, what you could do is you could take, your little water purification tablets and stick them down in here, but just make sure that you know how many purification tablets you need to put in this bag, which will work very well. But I'm going to show you another easier step, because a lot of us use water filtration. So I'm going to move this here, drop this one down, and to me, I'm going to be honest with you folks, a lot of people, you know, like life straws and stuff like that. To each his own. This is an internal bladder that you would put in a pack. As you can see, I put an inline filter on here, which is a Sawyer Mini. Basically, I've gotten this in here. My water flow is coming from here out through my piece. I like this little unit because I can turn it off and on. I like the piece on the mouth. It's just very cool. But these are kind of go in the back of your pack. Some packs may come with them, some may not. You can add them to them. But basically, what I'm going to do to Lady Grey's, or the wife's, thing is, I'm going to cut hers and I'm going to put an inline filter, because then if I fill this with water and I'm moving quickly, this is going to give me a better chance of not getting sick and purifying the water as it comes from the bag through the filter into my body, or into her body, or whoever's body that the water is going into. So if you're going to use something like this for your container, right, and you don't have time to boil, if you're on the on the go, whatnot, and you don't have the tablets, put an inline filter. Preferably Sawyer. See how small and compact they are? They're extremely nice. And like I said, these, I think, what is it, 100,000 gallons of water? That's a tremendous lot compared to some of the other smaller filters out there that can't do like even a quarter of that. So put yourself an inline filter. Basically, it's very simple. Set that there. Basically, you're just going to come up here and you're going to cut the tubing somewhere along these lines, wherever you feel comfortable with. I usually get closer to this part, to the mouth. Usually about right around the midway point, and then I'll put my inline filter there, and that's all I'm going to do. Is I'm going to take one of my Sawyer Minis, I'm going to put an inline filter to here, inline filter for the wife, and then give it to her, and she'll be good to go in case she's in a situation where she can't boil water, or if we're trying to be more covert. Hopefully that makes sense to you folks. Like I said, I always hope that these videos either teach someone something new, or maybe reassess something that they weren't aware of, and just give them some ideas. I like to plant the seed of preparedness in the aspect of how all these things correlate to ensure your survival and you thriving in a situation when it becomes pertinent to, getting the things that you need to get done. One last thing I want to talk about, and some people may not consider this a container, but I do. And these are dry bags. I love carrying dry bags everywhere. I have dry bags in my vehicle, all my bags, everywhere I go I have dry bags, because here in Florida it's always raining. It seems to be always. Well, this year we didn't get much rain, but usually it's raining. It's a wet, nasty environment. Maybe I have to trudge through some swamps and stuff like that. I want a dry bag. Greatest thing about dry bags is that you can put stuff in here and keep it dry. That's the huge thing. A lot of dry bags, basically, you want to put stuff in. This is a pretty good size one. Usually you can put extra clothes in there. You can keep food, matches, whatever that you need to put in there that you want to keep dry. And a lot of these things will close up. And then, of course, you're going to flip these things around like this. I don't know if I can show that on camera properly. And then, of course, you're going to tie this up just like that. And that's going to keep everything in this bag nice and dry. Now, I think this is a snug pack version, but there's all kinds of versions up there. There's really thick ones, really small ones, big ones, medium, all the different sizes like that. So hopefully, like I said, to me, I think a dry bag is another essential container if you're going to be building something out. So let me go ahead and set that there. So that's kind of wrap up this kind of topic. It's not too, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like we talked for too long. But hopefully, like I said, you gain value at it. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you said, hey, that's a great idea. Maybe I should add that to my bag as well. Like I said, the 5 C's. 5 C's are truly critical into building any bag for survival preparedness. Again, if you got any value to this, hit that thumbs up button. I would truly appreciate that. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. And if you again, like I said, I'm going to probably put this in a playlist and you can catch up on the other ones, combustion and cordage. I think we're also this week, we have, let me see, what do we got? Cover, and we got cutting. And I know a lot of people are excited for the cutting tool because, again, who doesn't like knives, axes, and saws and all that fun stuff like that? And kind of see what kind of gear that I have when it relates to cutting. All right, folks, this is GreyMan, and I want to say be safe out there. Remember, you're not alone. God bless, and I'll see you guys on the rebound. Take care.